Universe. It's the Natural. We are here taking a look at the Madden 23 player ratings that just dropped. We got receivers, tight ends. I got my main man, Four Verts, and a new comer to the show, to the channel, Manu, three-time Madden champion. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, we're excited, man. It's Madden season, getting right into it. So we got the top 10, and not just that, they dropped all the receivers in the games. We're going to go through quickly through the top 10. You can see that here on your screen, but also we're going to go through some analysis from Four Verts. He's breaking it down. You can see that as well, based upon the team group score, based upon these receiver ratings, and Manu gives his insight from a Madden perspective, competitive perspective, and guys to look out for. So let's get right into it. Bringing up the top 10 there, we got Amari Cooper. At 90
Amari
overall.
Cooper.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he's probably the most surprising of anybody you're gonna find here in the top 10. I know when these dropped earlier today, that was where a lot of people kind of zoned in on. Obviously, the former Cowboy ends up in Cleveland, was traded for a bag of hammers and a half drink gallon of Gatorade.
It's a Red Bull.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's probably played a lot on the perception here with him. Across the board, he's a pretty, I would say, quality receiver. He's not flashy. I know a lot of people were a little upset Jamar Chase didn't end up in the top 10. They thought Amari Cooper was the easy swap out there. But he's going to be the guy that a lot of people are going to kind of zone in on and say, hey, that's where they screwed up.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great all-around receiver. I don't see anything that jumps out that's amazing stat for him. He's just solid all around. What are your thoughts, Manu?
Yeah, so from a competitive perspective for me, what I always look at the first thing is I look at speed and I look at short route run, medium route run, and deep route run. So obviously Cooper does have a great upside. He does meet all the route run thresholds. In case you guys aren't familiar with the route run thresholds, it's 85. So if you have 85 or above on short route run, medium route run, or deep route run, then your receivers are going to get sharper cuts. They're going to get a lot more separation versus man. And Cooper has those abilities. Again, the only downside is 91 speed is a bit low. So again, really, when you're playing regs, you really want to look for the speed. And next, you want to look for the route run.
All right, so he's pretty solid, like I said, overall and everything.
Yeah.
Let's move right on to a newcomer to the top 10, Terry McLaurin at 91 overall.
Yeah, scary Terry. Like you look at this Washington team. They've got some young receivers there with him that we'll talk about here in a little bit, and Dotson and Samuel. But McLaurin's obviously the breakout star here. 94 speed, and Manu will definitely be talking about that. Very, very solid there. But this is a guy I think a lot of teams are going to be looking to build their teams around here in franchise mode. And if you're going to take the Commanders, that's really one of probably the three reasons you take that team.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this model on Terry? He's got the speed, but does he have a quarterback to actually get him the ball?
That's a good question. So from the speed perspective, obviously amazing. The 94 speed jumps out at me. But also what he does have is, again, McLaurin, I thought he was a bit of a smaller receiver, but he also has 90. A sleeper stat for him is he has 96 release. So if you're playing man coverage versus McLaurin, again, not only does he have the burners to beat you over the top, but he also is going to be able to get off those press animations at the line.
Yeah, for sure. He's gonna be nasty. And another thing for franchise guys to think about, age. Guys that are this good this early, they really you can max those guys out and get them to 99 overall pretty quickly in your franchises. Moving on to someone who's not too young, Keenan Allen, another non-burner on this list here.
Yeah, Keenan Allen. That's where things get a little rough, right? A little bit older in age. I want to say he's 31. He's up there in age a little bit. So he's going to be degrading throughout your franchise. In terms of the route running, obviously that's where Keenan Allen is going to jump out at people. I know Chad Johnson or Ocho Cinco likes to talk about him a lot when he talks about the route running. So his route running obviously is going to be very, very good there. He's a piece I think in most franchises you're going to see on the move relatively early. He'll have early value for a team that's completely devoid of wide receiver talent. But for teams that have a little bit of talent, he's probably going to be a pass for most people.
So it doesn't have the speed that you like, Manu, but he has 93 short, 94 medium, 88 deep route running. Can that get it done in a competitive sense?
I mean, honestly, 88 speed, you're off the team, you're cut. I'd rather have, again, from a competitive perspective, give me somebody that's 75 overall, 95 speed. I'm taking them. Anyone is taking them at a competitive level, 9.5 out of 10 times over Keenan Allen. Again, if you're in a franchise league, again, look for some low value steals. Again, a lot of people aren't going to know that gem about the route running threshold. So if you can find somebody in the 70 overalls, maybe a low 80 overall player with those that meets that 85 threshold, then that's a great steal right there. And I'm sure they'll even be the same speed as Keenan Allen because 88 speed. I mean, who is he? Who is he cooking? A linebacker?
Yeah, for sure. But some things that from a franchise point of view, a lot of guys don't kind of look at, and it's a hard stat to increase. The one thing I always kind of pay attention to, a lot of people don't, is run blocking. Keenan Allen with 59 run block, and as well as the next receiver on the list who has good run back as well, 55 run block, Mike Evans at 92 overall.
Yeah.
Yep. Mike Evans has been a staple here, right, for a long, long time. But he's kind of a dude, right? And when I say like a dude, again, we talk about that speed. We talk about from a franchise side, he's going to be your jump ball guy. He's going to be the guy that goes up downfield, tries to get the catches in the red zone. We'll see if he's got abilities or not. Oftentimes, I know last year he had red zone threat and some things like that. So just from a franchise perspective, he's starting to get up there in age. He's got some value here for a couple of years. I think his contract is even pretty favorable here for another year or two. So I think he's a guy that in that Tampa Bay offense, you're going to probably try to leverage if you're going to keep Brady for another year. Otherwise, if you're going to move on from Brady, you may want to package Evans away as well and try to get some for him while he's got some value.
Yeah, so being an old school Madden player back in the day, that jump meant something. When you had more user catching, you can body somebody up and go up for it, or rocket catch and all those things. In the competitive world, does jump matter and those usering abilities matter in the game?
And not nearly as much. So again, back then you could click on and even get like rocket catch animations. But now it still is valuable though to have a really big receiver like Mike Evans. Again, he is a little slow, but again, I believe he's 6'4", 6'5", so he is still going to be able to get those big time aggressive catches. And again, at a competitive level, I know a lot of people don't like the aggressive catches. So again, if you want to piss off your opponent and maybe get away with some iffy reads, again, Mike Evans can go up and get that big aggressive catch for you one-on-one still. One disappointing thing I saw in this is even though that Mike Evans is a top 10 receiver, again, I was surprised at the route running. He actually doesn't meet as a top 10 receiver one of the route running thresholds. So if you're wondering why, he's not getting those sharp cuts on those crossers or corners, it's because he doesn't meet the route running threshold for medium route runs. So, but overall, again, he can get those big catches for you down the field. But again, you could probably find some better value from somebody that's lower overall.
All right. Moving on to a younger receiver there, 93 all Justin Jefferson with 91 speed. I think for me, I'm surprised that he'd be a little bit faster. I think he plays faster than this. But what are your thoughts on this?
Right. So this is, I think this is where we start getting to the next tier. I would call them of players here. Jefferson obviously is going to be high value just because of his age. I want to say he's 23, 24. You relatively young guy here for the Madden world. Tons of upside, will probably come in as an X factor, potentially just a superstar, which is fine, right? Plenty of time to get him up there. Again, he's got the physical traits you're looking for. And really he's got, for instance, he's got all the catching traits, right? The 94 spec catch and some of these other things you're really looking for, 95 release. So, this is not surprising. I think, you start getting a lot of field debating again, Jamar Chase versus Justin Jefferson, for instance, a guy who played with at LSU. This is where I start getting excited about this wide receiver group.
Any thoughts on Justin Jefferson, Mono?
Yeah, so I agree that from a man perspective for a franchise. So if you're playing versus man coverage, again, the upside of Justin Jefferson is he meets all those route running thresholds. So he'll be able to get those sharp cuts on slants, on crossers, on corner routes, and he has a 95 release, so he'll be able to beat those press animations. So great for his man, but again, he is a tad bit slow. So I feel like if you're playing versus more zone coverage, you could find a higher value receiver from somebody that's lower overall. But if you're playing versus man coverage, again, Justin Jefferson can do a good service.
All right.
I do have a question about that. So 95 change of direction, right? And with the 360 cuts this year, I feel like change of direction is going to play a little bit more role in that this year for people that really want to use those stick skills. So What are you guys thinking in the comp scene right now about change of direction as it relates to this 360 kind of cuts?
Now, that's an interesting point. So, again, I did have a chance to play. I played over 100 games of the beta. So usually change of direction is used on the defensive side from like a usering perspective. And I know there are thresholds for like, yeah, I know you mentioned like the open field moves. Oh, so one thing I just found out. So again, he does have the 80 spin move. So again, he's not going to be able to spin people out in midfield, but he does have a high juke move. Again, if you have over 85 juke move, again, he can juke somebody out. But again, usually the spin move is really one of the best open field moves. So, and he does not meet that. But again, you could utilize the juke with him and get some extra yards after the catch.
Speaking of someone who does have a 97 juke move, Stefon Diggs. And one thing we kind of touched upon that, but not that these receivers have to be skilled. Also having a quarterback that can get the ball to them, and we know that Josh Allen can definitely do that with his 99 throwing power, paired with 92 speed and 94 acceleration. Thoughts on Stefon Diggs?
Well, yeah, and let's talk about his ability to catch the ball, right? 98 catching, kind of a big deal, right? You want the guy to hold on to the ball, which he can do. It's going to be a big deal. Only 92 catching traffic, so I probably not send him across the middle. He will drop some at times, but Diggs is again where we start seeing some of the physical freaks to come out here. 90, what was that? 92 speed. I think for the Bills, in terms of a franchise, this is one of the reasons you're taking this. You're looking for that combo, like you said, a Josh Allen plus a Stefon Diggs, and actually a pretty good receiving core there in general that we'll talk about here in a little bit.
Mono, any thoughts on Stefon Diggs?
Yeah, so a couple of things that jump out to me. Again, not a super burner, but again, he does have a lot of positive upside. So again, he's gonna be great versus man coverage. Again, he meets all the route running thresholds, and he's also gonna be able to juke and spin somebody out in the open field because again, he has over 85 spin and over 85 juke.
All right. Moving on to someone who was coming off an injury last year, but still rated pretty highly. DeAndre Hopkins at 96 overall, and not a burner again. It seems like there aren't too many burners on this in this top 10 list. They're maybe really just a Tyreek and Terry McLaurin, but talking about DeAndre Hopkins, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Hopkins is a guy I'm looking to sell really early in a franchise. Obviously, he's got name value. He's got a high overall 90 speed. But one thing to remember here is he's 30, right? Like he's basically 30. And we know degradation franchise year over year. This guy's going to drop pretty quickly in terms of how good he is. So this is one of those guys where I think on paper, he helps make that Arizona receiving core look very, very good. But I think, he's one of those guys that's on the downside of his career. And I'm probably looking at trying to get rid of relatively quickly from a franchise perspective.
All right, any thoughts on D Hop, Manu?
Yeah, so again, some upside. Again, he does have the great, the short route run, the medium route run, deep route run. So he is going to get those sharp cuts versus man coverage. Again, I am disappointed by the speed, and he doesn't have the spin threshold either. So it's going to be hard to make open field moves with him. So from a franchise perspective, I feel like this is someone that you could trade away and get some better value from a lower overall receiver that has more, those hidden stats. But again, I will say, he does have the 99 spectacular catch, so you will be able to get some big time aggressive catches with him.
All right. Moving on to receiver that gonna take Mono to put his hands on his desk because he might just cream himself. Tyreek Hill at 97 overall, 99 speed, 99 acceleration, 90 agility, all the jukes and spins and moves that you can imagine. What are your thoughts on this? And make sure we give Mono enough time to really talk about that.
Yeah, I will leave this one up to him for the most part, but I will say one fascinating fact here with Tyreek Hill now. With his 99s across the board. And then you have Jalen Waddle as well, who we'll probably talk about here in a little bit. But they are the fastest duo, at least that I can find of recorded history in Madden. So the fastest, most dominating speed team at release in Madden. So pretty wild crew you got down there in Miami.
Wait, faster than the greatest show on turf? I mean, you might gotta go a little back for that, but I don't know about that one.
I mean, I was gonna say I went back about 12 years, I think.
Okay.
And that was the best I could find. So 99 speed. There haven't been a ton of 99 speeds. Plus, you have Waddle's 97, 98.
Yeah, because the Rams had three guys. If you remember, Isaac came too. But yeah, all right. I'm showing my age here. Go ahead, Mike.
You are showing your age.
Old man Madden.
All right, you guys already know I'm super excited about this one. Again, I'll tell you guys right now, if you trade away Tyreek Hill in your franchise league, go ahead and kick yourself from the league and save yourself, you know what I'm saying, and just refund and send in a refund. You might as well. It's the stupidest thing that you could do in your franchise.
Sell your
So please,
Madden.
if you have Tyreek Hill, do not get rid of him. Again, they better be trading you, Patrick, they better be training you the entire team. So Tyreek Hill, he's the best player. He's the by far the best receiver. Again, and from a competitive scene, a lot of people think he should be banned from competitive, man, just
Wow.
because he just runs by man coverage. He just runs by zone coverage. Again, even people on Google are searching, oh, how to stop Tyreek Hill. He's got his own damn keyword. So everyone is trying to figure out how to stop this guy. Nobody has figured out how to stop this guy. You need 2, 3 people on him. Again, get your hands on Tyreek Hill.
All right, so totally unrelated or somewhat related. Fantasy draft. Number one, you take Tyreek Hill, Lamar Jackson, or somebody else completely different. Fantasy draft. Are you
Oh,
actually
God.
drafting the players for your team?
Honestly, I think quarterback's always the most important position. Again, you need somebody with that fast release. But again, Tyreek Hill, he's going to be in that top 3. You
Gotcha,
need a
gotcha.
Tyreek Hill is, again, a lot of people think he should be banned. That's how good he is.
All right, for Virtue, you have anything on that one?
I mean, Josh Allen.
Gotcha. All right. All right, moving on to pretty much the opposite of Tyreek Hill,
Oh,
Cooper Kupp, who doesn't have the physical traits but has pretty much everything else across the board. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, so this is where obviously Manu and I's will diverge slightly, I think, because um, I am not as worried about Cooper Cup's 89 speed. I'm just not putting him on the outside to beat people deep, right? Like I'm going to play him out of my slot. He's going to make all the cuts I need him to make. He's actually a bigger guy than people think. He's going to catch the ball every time I need him to catch the ball, right? 99 catching, so on. So I'm not as down on him. Actually, I'm down on him because of his age. People don't realize he's in his late 20s, right? So
Mm.
he actually doesn't have a lot of time left at a super high age. And obviously, being at the low 90 threshold, his speed can drop. And so you figure in a year or two, his speed could be, 87, something like that, 80, 87, 86.
Okay.
So that's really my concern with Cup. But I do think year one, he can be a really valuable asset, maybe even year two for your franchise.
People have to remember though, in franchise they do have different tools, and for the coaching package you can buy to kind of stave off aggression. You can have guys, kind of hang around a little bit longer than they used to. But Mono, what are your thoughts on Cooper Cup?
yeah, and like Forward said, again, if you're utilizing him in your slot, again, he can obviously be a good addition. I mean, he still has the super high route run, so he's going to be good versus man coverage. But if I was in that franchise league, Cooper Cup is on the trade block on the first day. I see that 91. Everyone's going to be so enticed by that 98 overall. Again, I'm going to be out there looking for lower value players, get a lot more in return, and I'm going to look for those hidden stats. And Cooper Cup, again, 89 speed, that's a killer, honestly. And he would be off my team day one.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about those hidden guys a little bit later. And last but least, definitely not a lower guy in any respect. Davante Adams at 99 overall, 99 club with the Raiders now. Moving on from his time with Aaron Rodgers, goes on to another quote unquote top quarterback there. So what are your thoughts on Davante Adams?
I think he's very similar to Cooper Cup, right? Like a little bit faster, but overall he's not that much different. I think and I'll actually play with Manu a little bit on this one, right? I'm not opposed to moving Cup early. I'm not opposed to moving Adams early, depending on if you can make that contract movable.
Yeah.
I do think you're going to get the people with the 99 in their head. He's definitely going to have some abilities that will probably make him really, really valuable, right? That's something we don't talk about right now, but the abilities will play an important role here. So, but again, he's 29, right? Like that's kind of a common theme. A lot of these guys on this list towards the top are a little bit older, right? You're in that 29, 30 range. With Madden in regression, right? I know you mentioned the coaches packs, but that's still dice rolls, and dice rolls still can come up pretty bad for you. So I'm totally in on moving some of these older guys.
Yeah. Plus, you have to remember though, with like someone like Devontae Adams, like you said, the abilities, and this year that the better abilities are capped overall. So you might find that gem of a receiver, but he's not going to be able to have those upper echelon or the best abilities in the game because they are capped by overalls this year. So, what are your thoughts on Devontae Adams as well as some of the abilities of these receivers, Manu?
Yeah, so obviously, again, like you said, the abilities again makes Davante Adams a lot more appealing. But I feel like if you could go down to maybe like a 90 overall, maybe an 85 overall, and get those players with still those great abilities, but are a little bit faster, again, that would be a huge deal. Again, everybody in the league is going to be looking at the 99 overall. Everyone's going to be enticed by that, and I would downgrade him, get some players get a faster receiver, but still those great route running stats that has those upper echelon abilities, and you could get two good players. Two really good players to match to trade for Davante Adams.
That is it for our breakdown of the top 10 wide receivers in Madden 23. Stay tuned. We have the sleepers coming for you guys next. Who are the receivers you can pick up your franchise to target in Madden 23, as well as a breakdown of the rosters. What team has the best wide receiver core in Madden, and what team's wide receivers are just trash. Stay tuned. Got the next video coming right your way. If you appreciate our content and all the work we do to bring you guys the latest news, tips, and gameplay from your favorite sports games, drop a like, subscribe, SGO today. You want to take your game to the next level? Then join SGO Insider.